Hello everyone, welcome you all to another video, and today we are going to start with the paper number 9 and another term, that is the Senecan tragedy. So in this lecture we are going to learn what is tragedy and what is Senecan tragedy and who is Seneca. So without wasting any further time, let's get started. So first we are going to understand what is tragedy. So let's get begin. So tragedy is applied broadly to literary and especially to dramatic representations of serious actions while eventuate in a disastrous conclusion for the protagonist. So broadly you can say that a tragedy is actually dramatic representation of serious actions on the stage, and there is a disaster is there, calamity is there, problems are there for the protagonist, and a protagonist, that is hero and heroine, or the main character. So these main character, hero heroine, they have to face a lot of problems, and therefore it is a serious actions and it is called as a tragedy. Aristotle, we have discussed Aristotle in the introduction lecture. So Aristotle, actually it is regarded the father of literary criticism, and he has written a book named Poetics, and which was written in 4th century BC. So in that book he has given us the definition of poetry. So I have told you that actually he has opposed the theory of his guru Plato, that poetry is once, twice, but thrice removed from reality. Actually, Plato has condemned poetry. Plato has declined poetry. Plato has objected poetry. So therefore, Aristotle has defended poetry by saying that poetry is a universal truth, or it is a different kind of truth. And after that he has given a new meaning to the theory of imitation, which was put by Plato. So while doing so, at the end, by the medium of imitation, he has said that the narrative poetry is different and dramatic poetry is different, and dramatic poetry also distinguishes. Okay, so I will start with the first. What is the theory of imitation? So he said that poetry and other fine arts differ from each other by the medium of imitation. So medium is the first basis of imitation. So arts, painting, music, all this different. Plato has compared poetry with painting, but here Aristotle has compared poetry with music, because music and poetry, okay, they are related, they are closely related. And in the medium of imitation, for example, has need a color, he should need a brush and paper also. And if you think about the poet has a only words, he must have a pen and paper, but he just write with that pen only words are there, words on the page. Whereas if you think about the musician, so musician must have a musical instruments. So therefore all these fine art differ from each other by the medium of imitation. So next one was the manner of imitation. So in the manner of imitation, you know that the poetry itself dividable between the two kinds of poetry. One is a dramatic poetry and the second one is a narrative poetry. So narrative poetry is epic and dramatic poetry is play. So dramatic poetry itself distinguishes into two form of drama by the object of imitation. So first is comedy and the second one is a tragedy. So comedy imitated men worse as they really are, and tragedy, according to Aristotle, represented men higher than they are usually are. So therefore, according to Aristotle, tragedy is the greatest form of the literature. And after that, he has given the definition of tragedy as: tragedy is an imitation of an action that is serious, complete, and of a certain magnitude, in the medium of embellishment of language through action and not narration, through pity and fear, effecting the proper catharsis of these emotions. So here we can say that tragedy and the imitation of action that is serious and complete, okay, and certain magnitude. Magnitude means that it should have a 3 hours. I mean that 3 hours, not more than 3 hours, nor short than 3 hours. Okay, so 3 hours actually the basic. Nowadays the movies became 2 and something hours. Okay, but the older movies were 3 hours movies. So in the medium of embellishment of language, embellishment means some simile, metaphor, or we can say beautification of language. The beauty of language, okay, should be there, and through action, not narration. Action is there. So I think you understand what is the action and what is narration. Narration means what? For example, there was a kingdom and there was a king whose name is Dada Dash. Okay, now I'm narrating a story, so it is called a narration. But directly you are watching that one kingdom is there and there was a king and he is coming on horse and there are a lot of people. You are looking this video. Okay, so that is the action. So you are seeing all these action, okay, on the stage or on the television or on the movie. So it is called as a action. And through pity and fear, whenever you watch any tragedy or read any tragedy, only two emotions occur in your mind. One is a pity, that when the protagonist dies or something calamity they face, we get pity, सहानुभूती आपल्या मनामध्ये निर्माण होते. आणि फिअर, भीती, जर आपण असं वागलो याच्यासारखं तर आपल्यासोबत पण असंच होईल, ही भीती. And through effecting the proper catharsis of these emotions, and Aristotle has not given the exact meaning of the catharsis. So there are three theories. I am not we are going to see it in detail after in the next lecture in the paper number 5. I just want to give you add here only three theories, but I am not going to explain that. The one is the purification theory, number two is the progression theory, and number three is clarification theory. So these are the theories regarding the catharsis. So we have learned what is tragedy, and we have also learned the Aristotle's definition of tragedy. But what is the Senecan tragedy? So Senecan tragedy refers to a set of 10 ancient Roman tragedies, probably 8 of which were written by the Stoic philosopher and politician Lucius Annus Seneca. And therefore, the tragedy which were written on these 8 plays, which was written by Seneca by other dramatists, these plays are called as a Senecan tragedy. So Senecan tragedy was written to be recited rather than acted. The original Senecan tragedy, when Seneca has written these plays, actually he has written it for reciting. Reciting means only reading, only memorizing, not for acting, not for performance. But to English playwrights who thought that these tragedies had been intended purposely for the stage. They provided the model for an organized 5-act play with a complex plot and an elaborately formal style of dialogue. So Senecan drama in the Elizabethan age had two main lines of development. Number one, some dramatists wrote tragedies in close imitation of the Senecan model, including the use of chorus, and usually constructed accordingly to the rules of the three unities. So which are the three unities? Three unities actually Aristotle has written in the Poetics. Actually, he just suggested that the usually play should follow these three unities. So first unity is the unity of plot, number two unity of action, and number three unity of place. So which had been elaborated by Italian critic of the 16th century. So Italian poet dramatists, they have elaborated it. So what is the unity of plot? There should be only one plot. There should not be a side hero and his story should not be different from the main storyline of the play. So that is the unity of plot. So what is the unity of time? Sorry, unity of time. So unity of plot means unity of action. Sorry, unit of action, that is the unit of plot. Unit of action. Number second is the unity of time. Unit of time means that all the story, all the events should happen within 24 hours. Means there should be 24 hours. All the events should happen within the 24 hours. And the third one is unity of place. It means that a whole event should happen at the one place only. So that is the Aristotle has um, given us in his book Poetics. So the first tragedy of English literature is Gorboduc, which was written by Thomas Sackville and Thomas Norton, and the Gorboduc was performed and written in 1562. So the second type of Senecan tragedy is actually very very famous and very popular in Elizabethan theatre, and that is the other development was written for the popular stage, which is called the revenge tragedy or tragedy of blood. This type of play derived from Seneca's favorite materials: murder, revenge, ghost, mutilation, and carnage. But while Seneca had regated such matters to long reports of offstage actions by messengers, Elizabethan dramatists usually represented them on stage to satisfy the appetite of the contemporary audience for violence and horror. So these are the examples of Senecan tragedy of Elizabethan literature or Elizabethan period. That is the Thomas Kidd, the Spanish tragedy, which was written and performed in 1586, and this is the my favorite tragedy. So if we are in the face-to-face lecture, definitely I have given you, I have told you the story of the Spanish tragedy. Very nice story. The ghost is Andra, the ghost is there. Actually, it is based on the war between Spain and Portugal, and Portugal's prince Balthazar. He killed Andra, who was actually great knight of Spain, and he loves Belle Imperia. Belle Imperia was the heroine of this play, and Horace is another hero who is a friend of Andra. But in the very beginning, the ghost come and he tells us the story that in the war between Spain and Portugal, Balthazar, who is the prince of Portugal, has killed him. And now what happens to Belle Imperia? But Horace fought bravely and he captured Balthazar. So that is the storyline goes ahead. Belimbria started loving Horace, and how Horace was killed by Balthazar, and Latus, who is the brother of Belimbria, and how the main hero of this story, that Hieronymo, who is the father of Horace, and how he and Belimbria took revenge of the murder of both Andra and Horace in this play. So it is a very very beautiful and nice play and passionate play. The second one is the Christopher Marvel, the Jew of Malta, and he has written it in 1592 and it was performed there. And this play has also great impact on William Shakespeare also. So in the Jew of Malta, there was a Jew in the Malta who was teased and troubled by the king, who was a Christian king, and they hated Jew people. So therefore, the Jew asked help to the Sultan, who is a Muslim, Sultan of Turkestan, that is Turkey. And then uh, that is the story that how after capturing the Malta, Sultan also insult him because Muslim also hate Jews, and that is the story what happens to that Jew in the play. So it is also very nice revenge play. And third one is William Shakespeare's Titus Andronicus, which was published and performed in 1519, and the play which is included in your syllabus, that is Hamlet, in 1601. So I'm not going to tell you anything about Hamlet because we are going to see them very soon. Then the John Webster, the Duchess of Malfi, and the White Devil. The both these plays simultaneously performed. One Duchess of Malfi in 1612 and then the White Devil in 1630. So both these are very very dangerous and very interesting plays. So hey guys, I hope that you understood this lecture. If you have any kind of queries, please ask me in comment section or directly WhatsApp me. I'm there to uh, clarify your queries, your questions. So thank you for watching.